Hello, we'd like to inform you that your page is about to be temporarily locked. Read the comments, right? You see everybody with the meme, Michael Jackson eating popcorn in the comment section, and they expose the fraud right there in the comments. You have to scrutinize who's managing my money, hold them accountable for every dollar, cannot just kind of set it and forget it.
Just do something. Doing nothing is no longer an option.
All right, well, welcome to the SafetyNet podcast by Arc Cyber, and this is going to be part 2 of the online security basics for aging parents or just senior citizens or just anybody who might be older in your life. My name is Josh Lewis, and I am the host and producer, and with me is Sean Artizone, who is the genius, hacker, brains, and heart of the podcast. And so in the last episode, we talked about the first 4 different kinds of scams that are out there. We talked about the love deception, the desperate kin strategy, the false government threats, and the bogus prize pitch. In this episode, we're going to talk about a few more, including some real life examples of some stuff that Sean has personally gone through, people coming at him, and also some family members. So, Sean, let's go ahead and talk about this next number 5 type of scam that you need to watch out for.
Again, these scams, they're right from the FBI.gov website, and we'll have the links posted in at the end of this show as well, where you can just go see in detail the most reported scams that the aging and elderly are falling for. But like you said, these don't just apply to the elderly and aging, right? As we are moving through time, these are going to begin to apply to us, and everybody should be aware of these types of scams, that they exist, that they're out there, that people are still falling for them in high numbers. And just to educate yourselves and educate your family members and educate your especially aging parents, that we want to make you all smarter and provide a way for you to use tech more safely. So picking up right where we left off, this is the Fix-It Facade, I like to call this one. So some of the scammers are going to go for this face-to-face approach. It is a bit more bold. It is a bit more risky for them. However, the rewards, if they can pull this off, become a little bit more fruitful for them. And so what they will do is they'll present themselves at a doorstep, and they're going to be offering some kind of home repair service. Now, let's not lump in everybody to this category, because there are some legitimate still door-to-door salespeople. We know some great people that do some door-to-door book sales. All right, we have some friends that do that stuff, and they're selling some incredible materials for families that are trying to educate their kids. People that go around offering to cut grass and doing lawn maintenance jobs, and they actually record these things. If you've never seen any of these videos where a person comes in and cuts the grass of a completely overgrown yard and house,
That's
fantastic. They're so, like, I don't know why. I could just sit and watch those for hours. Legitimate businesses, but they're actually doing legitimate work, and they've offered now to do this, yard for free because it's just so overgrown while they're right there in the neighborhood. So not everybody is a scam, but what they're going to do is the big key is they ask for an upfront payment. You got to pay me first. And then once the money is now transferred, they vanish and none of the promised services take place. So no legitimate contractor or consultant that I know will ask for an upfront payment, especially payment in full. And so what is common in the contracting consulting world is potentially a 50% payment or a thirds payment, right? And the thirds will, or 50, will work to meet milestones. So if it's thirds, we're going to do a third up front, a third at half, and then a third at completion. And that is typically a resource constrained contractor who's a small business. Maybe it's an excavating company. Yeah. And that excavating company has said they're going to come out and do, $10,000 worth of work. And so up front, they need to buy initial supplies. And so the first third payment is going to be for them to acquire all those supplies and begin the work, right? You're funding that piece of it, but they haven't asked you for all 10,000 right up front. At 50%, they come in and ask for another draw because maybe now they need, fuel or whatever, or they have completed 50% of the work. And as agreed, when you hit that next milestone, you pay the second, third, and then finally they complete the work. The approvals are done. Everything is exactly as you wanted it. And you make the final payment. As you're talking to your parents about this, advise them, request credentials or some kind of business identification, right? If they're a legitimate business, they're going to have something. They're going to have a business card. They're going to have a truck with magnets or stickers on it. They're going to have a website. They're going to have Yelp reviews. I don't think anybody can get around Yelp reviews or Google reviews nowadays. And there's going to be some way to identify them, and they should be able to prove that. And they should be willing to prove that. They should be willing to provide that information to you. If they don't, again, red flag, no thanks, but no thanks.
What's number 6?
Deceptive Broadcast, Deceptive Podcasters, or some other kind of thing, right? Used to be more just TV, but now you'll see it on your reels, you'll see it on your social media pop-ups and all this other stuff, and you'll see it on YouTube and all the other channels that provide some kind of video service. So what they're offering, of course, is something that sounds too good to be true. And the image it's got some kind of legitimate service tied to it, credit repair, investment opportunities. Investment opportunities is probably the big one. And seniors specifically, especially if they're, they moved into that fixed income range, now they're retired, they're not really working, they're living off of, their retirement funds or the investments they made. They're going to be looking for ways to augment their lifestyle a little bit. They're not out there generating revenue anymore, and they're looking for just, some kind of get rich quick things. Yeah. And so they're going to end up ensnared in this deceit inside of these kind of things. And so the Bitcoin scams, the quick investment scams, I can give you a 20% return on your investment. There's nothing out there that offers a 20% return that I found. And if there was, everybody would be talking about it, and it would no longer offer a 20% return. And so it would just crash. So the best thing you can do is to talk to your parents about financial things. You see it on TV. Again, remember, they taught us as we were growing up, if it's too good to be true, it probably is. Remember that advice you taught us. And just because it shows up on the TV or on the internets doesn't mean it's true. And really, really, if you're still going to, continue into looking into it, do your due diligence. Take the time. Look online. Look at the reviews. If you go to a website or a YouTube channel or a Facebook page or whatever, read the comments, right? You see everybody with the meme, Michael Jackson eating popcorn in the comment section, because sometimes the comments are hysterical and they expose the fraud right there in the comments. And so just spend a little bit of time reading the reviews, looking at the comments, understanding the whole picture of this thing. You just want to do your due diligence with everything that you're buying online. If you've not been to that site before, Walmart's a real site. You go to walmart.com, Lowe's, Home Depot, Amazon. These are all legitimate sites, but it doesn't mean that they don't have, fake stores. Amazon can have fake scammer stores on it. They do really good to try to prove the business and prevent, stuff like that from happening. I haven't heard of cases like fake stores or I didn't get what I was supposed to get because they marketed it this way on Amazon. Amazon doesn't tolerate that at all. And if people report, hey, they said this is what the item was and this is what I got delivered, Amazon will refund you your money immediately. Amazon's customer service is they're known for being customer friendly, and the customer is their highest priority. So if a customer complains about it, they're going to get a refund of some kind, whether it's an Amazon store credit or the actual money back on your account. And then they're going to start investigating that store. And if they get multiple repeat, that store is banned from their platform. So, that used to happen early on. I think it was more prevalent, easier for people to get ripped off. But now the types of things that have been put in place by these organizations really have helped to ferret out the scammers from those platforms. So I just saw something the other day too about this Temu scam and the Temu fraud that's been going on. So Temu is this platform where you can buy stuff super, super cheap, and it's supposed to be these great things. And you just watch and look at all these reviews on Temu, or I don't know if I'm even saying it right, but this software was created by the same company that created this app in the Google Play Store and App Store that got banned because it was loaded with backdoor spyware and malware, and it was taking way more privacy liberties with the software and it needed things that no real legitimate online store needed unless they were collecting your information and selling it. And so they give away the prices that they offer are so cheap. People are like, yeah, I got to get this. Well, no business would stay operable if they kept selling materials at those prices, unless the way they were sustaining their business model is by selling off people's information. And so I actually saw, I think it was a TikToker kind of laying this out, that the Temu is basically a scam, and everybody's talking about it, and everybody's now starting to kind of wake up to the fact that the same company that developed this malware backdoor loaded app is now it's all the same developers of Temu, just with a different face. And so Temu potentially is a scam. Do some of your own research and figure that out for yourselves. And again, it was just one video that I saw kind of laying this out. So if in fact it is a scam, it will be, brought to light. But Deceptive Broadcast scam. So
that's good. All right, number 7.
This one's like a man that they're really going after the emotional aspect of people's desire to have friends and be social and all this stuff. This one's the trusted betrayal. And so a lot of times, and this is kind of where my father-in-law got duped, and familiar faces, family, close acquaintances, caregivers, under the guise of this trust relationship might expect, you might not expect this attack to come from them. And what ends up happening is they start to kind of maneuver situations, and these situations then kind of get stacked to the scammer's advantage. But yeah, they're basically ripping off the family member. Anytime a person is asking for money, asking or in control of the finances of another person, there is the potential for this ill intent to take place. You have to scrutinize who's managing my money, hold them accountable for every dollar. You cannot just kind of set it and forget it. Now, of course, as they move farther down the road, maybe their mental capacities are diminishing and they don't have that capability. Having a lawyer or some other estate kind of planner, some other responsible party is a potential way to do that. Though these are hard, and that's why it hurts so much when it does happen to family members like this, because the person has moved into a state where they really can't review their bank statements. They don't, maybe comprehend this kind of stuff anymore, and this person has just exploited that and taken advantage of it and just ripped off this person, the inheritance or whatever. And so that's why this kind of the trusted betrayal scam is just so devastating to, like, it's absolute betrayal. So
yeah, and I would even maybe throw this in there, and this is definitely more on the technical side of things, but like, say your family member is kind of in that mental capacity state. I would probably argue that just like a small child needs limited access to technology for whatever reason, that family member probably shouldn't have unhindered access to anything. You should probably be maybe contact Sean, figure out like what kind of restrictions could we put, just again, depending on where they're at, they could even be like, I'd love some like extra protection. Could you restrict this even more? I just don't know how to do it. Like we were up in Michigan visiting a family member on my wife's side, and her grandma was like, hey, can you, like, I keep getting all these spam calls and different things. And so I did a couple things on her phone to kind of block things, and different things. So that way, like, it's less likely for the scammers to get to her. And love so it's just just like little things like that would be helpful. So again, I feel like it's like having these conversations about how much they want to be protected, but then as you see their decision-making ability go down, maybe that's where it's kind of just like your toddler needs restricted access. Kind of move them towards
another
that.
thing. And as you were talking, you made me think of this, and we talked about it in the last episode, is the more people involved. Like, this isn't, if there's a family member that is just refusing to bring the financial pieces to the light, there may be something there that's just not like, why would this be such a big secret? Why isn't everybody involved? So have maybe an agreement with, like a board, right? A family board that deals with the finances, not just one person that you're holding on to the precious to kind of help walk through this, because then one person, won't have necessarily the temptation to deceive and defraud and betray the other family members, especially if everything is above board, everything is on paper. With all the collaboration tools that are out there, you're able to create show notes and share them with me collaboratively, right? Using tools like Google Suite and Microsoft Teams and all of these types of things that are out there. And a lot of these things they're free. And so you can put a budget together, or put a financial statements, bank statements, all this together in these shared locations, and share that with everybody in the family that needs to know, that's part of this board. And then they can use all of that to, everybody has eyes on and knowing. And this goes back to the kind of the same thing we talked about previous episodes, is having that light shining on it, having that greater accountability, having that visibility, and you're not doing this thing alone. It brings a little bit more freedom. It brings a little bit more integrity. That brings these things that the scammers don't want to have in the light. They want to do it in isolation. They want to do it quick. They want to do it quiet, and they want to do it in the dark. And so that's not how normal people want to work. That's not how normal, honest people want. They're upfront. Let's get some other opinions on this, because if they're not the smartest person in the room, they're going to reach out and try to find some answers. They're going to listen to our podcast. They're going to share this podcast with other people and say, hey, this guy actually touched on all of these things, and here you are, you're trying to do these. I think if you really want to be above board, let's bring all this stuff out in the open and make everybody a part of it. So
this one I'm super curious about. Number 8. Talk to us about number 8.
Yeah. So this is the tech trouble ruse. So many people, and very recently, this is exactly what happened to my father-in-law. And I have been spending time looking on different social media platforms like LinkedIn, like Facebook, X, now formerly Twitter, and seeing the amount of people that fall for this scam in the thousands. And this is an incredibly crafted, essentially phishing that has just been taking social media over. And so what this involves is unsolicited communication, where the scammer is posing as some variation of tech support from the reputable company, like Facebook, like Twitter, like LinkedIn, like whatever. And what their claim is you've violated their terms of service, you violated some public, decency thing, you violated the rules of a group, whatever it is, you did something wrong, and now they're reaching out to you to say, hey, you did this bad thing, and we're going to delete your device, delete your page, we're going to delete your profile, we're going to remove your ability to use your device. You've got some kind of compromised software on your thing, or whatever, and we've got to be able to fix it. And what we're going to need from you is personal information to verify you are who you say you are. Although we reached out to you telling you who we know who you are. And now we want your personal information, like your password. We want remote access to your device. We want something that, wait a minute, why do you need access to that? You know who I am, and you said I violated. So they're going to ask for something that is personal, and they should have. And then when you provide this information to them, this is where they either install malicious software, they hijack your Facebook account, they'll access sensitive information about you, a number of different things. And so basically this is the thing I have been observing happen on social media, specifically happening on Facebook. And the really, really sad part, we have some examples. And as like this example, the chat kind of initiated from what looks like the Meta logo. It looks like it's got the infinity kind of loop, and it says, page notice. Hello, we'd like to inform you that your page is about to be temporarily locked due to a violation of our community standards related to images and videos. Please get in touch with us to resolve this issue. Please contact the support team here. And conveniently, they provide a link for me to click, which will take me to their support team. And if I'm reading the link here, and I look at it, and it says,
It's so
it says
sketchy.
business meta fb.duckdns.org /.com ? It's got the PHP query in there that takes me to their PHP page. And sincerely, Meta support at 2023 automatic notification. Please contact now. And so it's a crafted phishing attempt, a scam attempt, where I now have to click their support link and go. And if I'm not paying attention, all I do is look at the first part that says business Meta Facebook. And if I'm not reading the entire string, I could actually fall for this. And so, because I see the logo, I see, oh, this is Meta. What does Meta want? And, oh, that's interesting. Wait, what? My page? Well, fortunately for me, I know something way more about my company than they do. And so falling for scams like this, for maybe my company isn't as likely. Now, I'm not saying I'm foolproof, because maybe they get super smart and they figure out some things about my company, and then maybe this becomes possible. But this was directly targeted at Arc Cyber, saying, oh, we have violated this and that. And so I was like, I know something you don't know, dummy. And I can tell immediately that you're a scam. And so,
well, and the logo, even, it's upside down.
Yeah.
Anyways, whatever. There's there's a lot of things about this that scream like, no.
Yeah. So then the next image that we received was in response to our posting of their scam attempt all over social media. So what we did was proactively, we took screenshots of their attempt and we pasted it into all the platforms, saying, hey, if you get this message in your messenger, this is a scammer. All of these variations are scammers. Yeah. Do not interact with them. Yep. They're successfully manipulating thousands of accounts, if not daily, weekly, for sure. And so then what happens is, when you post something like my account was hacked, or you put the words hacked, or put any of these associated words, there's a million bots that start to then respond to these pages. And so one of these examples is from a person, air quotes, because this isn't a person, Christian Dawson, an analyst at Apple. That's their title. It's always some kind of abstract, non-position. And if you just spend time looking at their profile, you'll see that these profiles have no content. They don't ever post. And the things that they post are consistently the same thing, because it's a robot. It's not a real person. And so this one says, my ACC, shorthanding account, was retrieved by at cyber _ blah, blah, blah via Instagram. Immediately when I chat him up, God, ! He's good and also trusted. I'm sure he'll fix yours, heart, or 100%. And so these bots, the message is always the same. The message varies, but the action they want you to take is always the same. Go visit this other place on Instagram. Go to Instagram and chat with this person,
or Twitter, or
they want to get you off.
Because this actually happened to me. I was complaining about my cell phone service because I couldn't get through to them. And so I was complaining about it on Twitter, X, whatever. It was before it was X. And literally, I can't tell you the amount of times I got this message when I was trying to do stuff. So anyways, I was like, no, thank you. And I blocked them.
So that's what they'll do. These bots are programmed to look for these keywords and then respond with this other scammer's page. And so then looking at the Instagram message, another very similar attack. Instead of it saying page notice, this one says community standards. Hello, Arc Cyber, your business page has been disabled. We are constantly updating our Meta privacy policy and terms of service, blah, blah, blah. So we've suspended your page. So now you got to go to this place here, view the details. And if you look at it, they actually post a real article talking about the terms. So if you click on it, it takes you to the Facebook article page. So then their goal isn't to get you to click a link to go put your creds in. Their goal is to get you to talk with them, because look, they gave you a click, a real link, and
Oh,
now you're talking with them, and now the next part comes. Yeah.
that's
So they give
sneaky.
you something that looks good, looks legit. Oh my gosh, here's where the policy is. Well, let me come back and talk. What policies did I violate? And oh man, and how can my page is disabled? Although I'm looking at it, it looks like my page is fine. What's going? So I didn't fall for this either. But and before this one has a little orange triangle in it. This is because we reported it to Meta and said this is a scammer. These guys are running rampant through your ecosystem, and here's yet another one that is posing as your support organization, and they're just in the back of my mind, I had a question. What would be a great way to get me and everybody else on Meta, on X, on every platform to sign up for the little blue check mark that they now charge $11 a month? Would it be to allow scammers to hijack accounts, take over their accounts? Because if you're not Meta verified, all they got to do is create a clone of you. And they allow these thousands, sometimes hundreds. I have a client who has had their accounts compromised, and their account themselves, their personal accounts, were not Meta verified. And when you type in their name and you look for them, there's literally like 30 of them. So you're like, well, which one are you? Who is the real you? And so all it takes is one of those scammers to reach out to the followers of these pages and say, yo, this is really me, and blah, 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 blah. And so I had went and gotten Meta verified a while ago. And as I'm looking, and this doing things like this gives a public profile, public presence. So if you're not talking to the real me with the Meta verification next to it, be aware that's a fake, that's a scam, because I'm not going to create another account that isn't Meta verified or X verified or whatever. Right. I'm not going to be doing those things. Scammers will. And so most of these, if you look at the actual Meta support, guess what they have right next to it? The blue Meta check mark, verified. They're verified. And you can interact with the check mark. It's not just a little snapshot of a picture showing it. And so anyway, we report them as quickly as we find them, and try to take through the process of reporting these scammer accounts. But then Meta is like, oh, or X or whoever it is, they're like, we take these things very seriously. And then they do look into them. And then every once in a while, I'll get an email back saying, hey, your report helped us remove this account. So once I did get an email back that said, we don't see anything wrong with this account. Like, I literally gave you all the evidence to show, here's the real account, here's the fake account, and you guys don't see any evidence.
Wow.
Are you just trying to ramp up your Meta subscriptions by keeping these bogus accounts out there? So there's another scam that necessarily isn't social media. It's just a website scam. And so a tech support scam. And so sometimes what happens is people go on these websites that have been compromised by malware. They've been compromised by a cross-site scripting attack or some other type of compromise to this potentially legitimate website. And what happens is it pops up. You get a pop-up that says, hey, we've detected threats on your computer, although they haven't run a virus scan or anything like that. But we detected a threat. Maybe you have a session cookie or something, your browser's hijacked. None of it is legit. But what happens is it'll show up within your browser. You'll see a blue screen inside the browser, but it's not actually the blue screen of death that you would see on the desktop, and your computer is completely frozen. But you'll see this kind of back hidden blue screen that's like, oh, everybody knows the blue screen. But if the blue screen's launched in your browser, it's not the actual blue screen that's causing a crash in your PC. And so it'll be accompanied with some kind of trusted antivirus. You got to download our software so that we can help you. Call this toll-free number. Look at us. We provide a customer service number for you to call. Aren't we great? So then you call this toll-free number. They urge you, you got to call immediately. We're going to get you unstuck. Now you have some kind of virus. And if you don't hurry up and act right now, oh my gosh, you're going to fall for ransomware. You're going to be encrypted, blah, blah, blah. Right. Well, if you watched our episode previous where we detonated ransomware, you see what ransomware does to your computer, and it doesn't look like this part of it. They're not going to want you to call them because you've got a way to trace and find who they actually are. So you call this toll-free number. They tell you to focus on what they're saying. They want you to listen and do all the things because we're going to help you. We're going to pretend to run some diagnostic test. You got to just give us access. And they're oh, yep, here we go. We found the vulnerability. We were able to isolate it. We're able to get it because our stuff is so great, and we're super awesome. And now we're going to repair your computer. We're going to fix this for you. Oh, but you got to pay us because now that we found it, we've done all this. Now we can fix the problem, but we're not going to do it for free. You got to fix it. So, and then here we'll take payment in Target gift cards. I don't know why they use Target gift cards. If you've ever gone to a site that had this kind of pop-up thing happen, typically you've seen this kind of thing. And so what you can do is report this to the FTC. There's actually a website you can go to. You can report them to the FBI. You can report them to, I think that's the IEEE. There's a way to report these scam sites and get them on the blacklist so that people, regular people just don't stumble across these things. The IPs then get blacklisted because they're known scam or fraud sites. And so the amount of traffic that can actually make it to them is significantly reduced by doing that stuff. Keep your security software up to date. If you have some kind of antivirus or antivirus is the minimum, minimum thing, because there's so much more than viruses, right? There's the ransomwares, there's all the different types of malware that are out there. There's firewall solutions that are out there. If you don't have a firewall in front of your router, if you're just kind of relying on the main router itself, you may want to talk to somebody about how can I get, a consumer grade firewall put in front of my technology to help slow these things down, get that layered approach to your security at home. And then you can always reach out to us, contact Best Buy, go to anyone, somebody that's an expert that can help maybe recover and do all these things. But really, you've got initiated contact by the scammers with their fake tech support thing. Break contact with the communication. Don't keep going. No. Best Buy, if you've never seen the Best Buy Geek Squad reach out to you and tell you, hey, your stuff is compromised, right? They're a legitimate business. How many times have they ever reached out to you? Now I say this, and this may have just given birth to the Best Buy Geek Squad scam. So I apologize if that put that into the idea of the scammers' minds. But that doesn't happen. Best Buy doesn't reach out to people. Right. All these legitimate agencies don't reach out to people and say, oh, we've noticed this, right? If anything, what happens is you'll get a Windows Defender pop up. You'll get, if you're using Sophos, if you're using any of the major holistic protection, McAfee's, all those Nortons, that is where you'll get the alert. It will be from that application that's installed on your device itself. It's not going to be from your browser. And it's definitely not going to ask you to call a toll-free number and pay them. Hey, that's a cool segue. Speaking of purchasing, look what we got now. I don't know if there's a glare.
Look at that. Look at that swag. We got some swag
bundle stuff coming out. And this is our new zipper little sweater.
Quarters. Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There's the one.
Love that. So, yeah. Look at that. Nope. So if you're listening to this on audio, we're showcasing some really dope Arc Cyber swag.
If you want to help us, right? If you want to just rep the show or rep Arc Cyber, we can use the proceeds to help keep doing what we do for free. So this is another way. So pay it forward. You may just want to make that pay it forward donation, make that pay it forward contribution. But if you want something to show for it, or even if we'll use that pay it forward to maybe throw in some of the swag now that we've got this for them. We'll have to talk about that. See how we can make this bring some of the value for them.
I love it.
For their pay it forward contribution. Also, hey, I want to plug this.
That's great.
Do a commercial. So we just partnered with an organization to manage your Wi-Fi for you, and so with this partnership. Basically, right now, you may be paying Spectrum, Xfinity, whoever you are, you're paying a monthly fee for them to manage your Wi-Fi service. We are now offering that as a service, basically the same costs that you would pay Spectrum, Xfinity, any of these companies that are doing Wi-Fi. We will manage it for you, and you will get, not only will you get cyber experts managing your Wi-Fi for you, but we're going to put our content filter protection on that as well. And you're going to see the Arc Cyber block page, if you end up, navigating to a suggestive, inappropriate, harmful site, you're going to see that our team is monitoring and helping secure your internet experience. And so we do that right through this new partnership. And so it's through Velo, right? We partnered with Velo and Velo routers. And they also include in the Velo system, if you buy it through us, we'll set it up for you. We'll help do all of those things, including the content filtering. But the Velo system comes with the Bark Home. So you put one of these things in your house, it protects your TVs, it protects your thermostats. It does a lot of the same things. And we now get to actually manage the technology remotely for you. We ship it out to you. You set it up. You set your own Wi-Fi SSIDs, your own passwords. We throw our content protection in place, and you get the holistic cyber services of ArcCyber to help make your home internet safer. So
again, like we're talking about like how to help aging parents and all these different things. Maybe this could be
let
a
us manage
good
it for
solution.
them. Yeah.
Like help lock it down and protect. And because it really, like we were talking about, like these scammers are trying to find cracks, right? They're trying to find little ways of penetrating and getting into people's lives, right? And so this is one way. Again, I think we've had a couple different people on. You've talked about this. Kafir from Iron Vest has talked about this. John Woo from Griffin has talked about this, but layering your cybersecurity, layering these different things. And this is a great way, almost like a baseline, like layering for you to help, whether it's your family or maybe your aging parents or something like that. That could be really helpful.
Yeah, 100%. Again, this isn't the exhaustive list of scams that are out there. Unfortunately, there's thousands. And as soon as the major ones are exposed, the scammers and con men, con women flip. They flip, they adjust, they adapt, and they look for another way to scam, another way to con. And so really, when it comes to somebody asking you for money for something, really that's when just take a minute, pause, and nothing has the urgency that they will be wanting you to act with. Everything can take a moment to think and process and consider before you separate.
Get more eyes on it.
Yeah. So really just all of these scams, scrutinize them, think about them, pause, take a step back, let somebody else look at it, another expert, whatever, and make an informed choice about what to do next. So and then
that's great.
Talk to your parents, talk to your aging parents, and have these conversations with them to kind of keep them aware. So, and then you yourself, because you're teaching, you're doing that, it's enforced, ingrained, and reinforced inside your own life and choices. So
that's so helpful. Great. Well, thank you for just kind of outlining those 8 different things. And again, if you want to partner with us, your pay it forward contributions help us keep Sean's cyber consulting services free for everyone. And it also helps us make content like this. So go to arccyber.com/PIF or click the link in the description. You can pay it forward. And as always, the thing we are always trying to get you to do here is to just do something. So we hope that this episode will help you as you try to have a safer internet experience.